Hi, I'm Josie Love Bashout, and I'm interviewing for The Love Story. And I, too, have loved and lost. The Phoenix, the hero's journey, it's the quest. And, the Phoenix is, I don't know if you're familiar, but it's, such a mythical bird, mythical creature that's gone across all of the ages from my ancestors in Egypt, as well as Greek and Catholicism. And it's so significant. Why? Because the Phoenix never dies. It just is continually being reborn from its ashes. So it's remembering that, and that's what the biggest thing for me. So I remember that I'm spirit. And so I don't die, I'm just reborn. And I continue to strive to reborn into the best version of myself possible. The biggest thing was I didn't know how to release the emotion. And so what I started to do was journal. Freeform writing, journaling, helped me so much, and meditation helped me so much. And so that's how I started to slowly cope and understand and release, and talking about it. By talking about it, what did I do? I released the shame that I felt around it. By choosing to remove the judgment that I had and really choosing to forgive myself, when I speak about it, I forgive myself. So because I'm forgiving myself, others also are not going to judge me and look at me like, oh, you don't deserve it. Like, it's my mind. It's constantly practicing that change, that mindset, that changing of the mind. And so, it was several years before I could cope with that. And, honestly, I thought I was giving a really good handle on it, but I spiraled out of control again. I would say a year and a half after that relationship on my own. And what I realized was I may have started developing boundaries in relationship, but I did not develop boundaries in myself. And that's when, again, the emotions came up, and I ended up getting really destructive to where I was going out and partying and drinking a lot on my own, because I was like, oh, I'm independent, I have my job, I have my car, I have my house. I'm gonna go and have a glass of wine and date multiple people and just, feel what it's like to be a free bird in this world, right? And the truth of the matter was, I couldn't handle myself. I couldn't handle being alone. And that was a whole other beast for me. Being alone with yourself, me, myself, and I. Oh no, I was not okay with me, myself, and I. I was escaping me, myself, and I with alcohol, with sex, with chasing affection all the time. The reason that all came crashing down and forced me to deal with it, which I think is where you're going, is I got a DUI. And this DUI forced me, the universe, God, forced me to stop and to slow down and to deal with it by putting me on house arrest and by taking away my freedom in the form of an ankle bracelet. And so I had to wear an ankle bracelet for 30 days in this house. Couldn't go anywhere. And was like, you're trying to run away from yourself? No, girl, you can't run anymore. It's you, yourself, and I. You're alone. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. And even at that point, what did I do? I chose to, again, step out of that line and not choose self-love. I had wavered away again from self-love. And I went on a blind coffee date with this guy that was only a few blocks away. I set it up because it would be close to my house, right? I could be back and forth, easy, no problem. Wore a long skirt, so he didn't know I had an ankle bracelet on. Connected at tea. And so I invite him to my house, and we have a whole full bar set up, and what happens? Back into the same trained, repeated pattern. We drink, we connect, we're numb, and we're connecting on the superficial level. And with that superficial level and connection, we start to hook up, and he realizes I have an ankle bracelet on. And what happens? an instant switch in my value in his eyes. The way he starts talking to me is different. The way he starts treating me is different. Then he starts to get very rough with me. And all of a sudden, as we're kind of going out, he says something to me that's like degrading, and he hits me in the head. And I freaked out. And I ran to the bathroom and I checked. I was like, what is happening? Oh my God, how did I create this again? Because at this point I know that my thoughts create my world. I've done a lot of reading with Deepak. I've done a lot of meditations, Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, all of these books that I've been reading that gets me to understand that I'm creating this, but why am I creating this? And so I had this huge freak out, came back in, and I was like, wow, I have this man in my house who I don't really know. And I had that realization of like, I'm not safe. I put myself in danger again. I'm repeating an old pattern. I'm harming myself. What am I doing? Like, what am I doing right now? And so I came out and like, didn't know what to do and just created the story of like, my sister's coming. I need you to leave. And like freaked out and had him leave. And for me, after everything, that was my rock bottom. Of all things, that moment was my rock bottom. Not the DUIs, not the abuse. This random stranger in my house immediately devaluing me, abusing me putting myself in harm in this situation, having this complete breakdown. And for days, I just sat and cried and cried and cried and was angry and was yelling and was writing. Didn't know what to do. I was so weak. And I was so battered. My spirit was so battered. And I remember reading something that it triggered so much in me. And I remember reading this quote that said, God, I am so weak. Please fill me with your strength because I can't do it. I cannot do it. And I remember just saying that to myself every day, right by that window, looking out outside at the world that I could not be a part of because I created that. I took away my freedom. I took away the love. I created this depression, this sadness, no one else. And I was too weak to create anything else. And I needed help. And I knew that I needed a greater force than myself. And so I prayed. I just went back to my prayer and continued to ask every day for the strength of the angels and the strength of God to fill me and to lift me. And I chose wholeheartedly to make a commitment to loving myself. No man, no one in my life, me, myself, and I, and how to love me, myself, and I for the person that I was. Because when I looked in the mirror, the woman that I saw was ugly. And I didn't recognize her. I didn't see my true soul in my eyes. I just saw darkness.
How have you released those traumas?
I have to say that the most transformative healing modality for me has been energy work. And the simplest of things, crystals. Oh my God, I love crystals. And that's allowed me to release so much trauma. I was holding on to a lot of it, and a Reiki master came into my life. And his name is Gogi. I will never, ever in my life forget him. Writing is one thing, journaling is one thing, but we have a huge variety of healing modalities out there that are available to people, which is why I, was inspired to form and create Soulscape Journey, my company with Megan, which offers a wide variety of healing modalities. Because when I was in this time, I had no idea that anything like energy work or crystal therapy or transcendental meditation or sound therapy or light therapy existed. And so for me, I was seeking change. I was seeking healing, but I had no idea what that looked like until I went to Burning Man 3 years ago. For the first time, my intention was to seek healing, and I didn't know what it looked like at all. And what it showed up as was in the form of this 5-foot man, yogi, whose name was Gogi. And he gave me a choice. If you look at it as like the Matrix, do you want, the red pill or do you want the blue pill? What do you want, right? And one was the traditional route and one was a non-traditional route. And it was, again, to me, we always have a choice. What are you going to choose? Non-traditional route. That's what I'm here for. I've traveled all this way, packed in the middle of the desert, people I don't know, to seek something that I know exists, but I don't know what it looks like. But I'm just saying yes, and I'm checking in with myself if this feels safe, right? Important thing, does this feel safe? Yes. My body opens and says yes. Okay.